watch it later if you want to. All right, there we go. So today we're doing multiplying binomials. And so a binomial just means that you're going to have two terms. Okay, so terms are separated by addition or subtraction. And so that's how you know how many terms you have. A binomial has like a plus sign or a minus sign in the middle of it. So we'll be using a lot of the distributive property. I'm going to show you how to either just distribute or FOIL. And there's another method that I also really like called a box method. And they talk about all these methods in the Ed puzzle that you have for today as well. So let's just start with an example, okay? The big thing here is that you have to make sure that all of the terms get a chance to be distributed. And so whatever method you decide that you like the best is the one that you can use. I will not make you like use a certain method over another method. Like some of you are going to really like how to FOIL. Others are going to really like how to do the box method. So whichever one you choose is the one that you're going to go with, okay? So let's say you have something like this. X plus 2 times x plus 4. So the first method I'm going to show you is called FOILing. Maybe you've heard of this before. I don't know. So FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. Okay, that spells the word FOIL. So it's really just doing the distributive property twice, to be honest. So you're going to multiply the first terms. So x times x, this x is the first term of this binomial, and this x is the first term of the other binomial. So you're going to multiply them. And we learned that when you multiply, you add the exponents. So there's really like little ones right there. So this would be x times x, which would be x to the second power. All right, that's the first terms. Then the next one would be doing the x times this 4. So x times 4 is just 4x. So it would be plus 4x. And it's a plus because this x is positive and that 4 is also positive. So positive times positive is positive. The next one would be this guy right here, this 2. So we did the distributive property with this x. We did x times x, and then we did x times 4. Now it's this one's turn to do the distributive property. So now you're going to do 2 times x. So that would be plus 2x. And then you're going to do 2 times 4, which is 8. So by doing this distributive property twice, that's why I keep giving you all these like distributive property problems in the do nows, because I want you to be able to do this really good when we do these binomials. So by doing this distributive property twice, the multiplication is all set. It's all done. Now you can just combine like terms and that's it. So you've got x squared. I don't have anything else that has a squared term. So I can't combine that one with anything. So we're just going to bring that down. Then you have 4x and you have 2x. Those are like terms. We can totally add them together. So that would be 6x. And then this plus 8 is the only thing that is just a plain old number. So that's just going to come down also. And your answer is going to be this big, long polynomial. This is called a polynomial because it has more than 2 terms. Poly means like many. So you have many terms, okay? All right, and that's the gist of it, to be honest. Now I want to show you another method. So we've got distributive property, and then the second method is going to be using what we call a box. So, second example. Let's see. How about something like this? How about 2x plus 1 times x minus 5. So another way to do this kind of multiplication is to set up a box. So we create a box. All right. And you're going to separate the terms, okay? So we got to put like some separators in here, like that. And I'm going to put the terms for the first set of parentheses up on the top. So we have a 2x and we have a plus 1. So the plus 1 goes in the second spot over there. Okay. Let me let somebody in here. Here we go. Now, you don't have to put the 2x plus 1 on the top. You could put it on the side also. It doesn't matter. But since I put it on the top, I'm going to put the x minus 5 along the side. So we put the x right here, and you put the minus 5 down there. Make sure that you put the sign that's in front of the number with that number. Otherwise, we won't get the right answer. Okay? Okay. So now we're just going to fill in all the boxes. This is why I like this one, because you know you get it all done if all the boxes have an answer in them. Sometimes when we do this distributive property, we might forget to like connect a couple of problems or a couple of terms, and you might like not get all of the terms that you need, especially if you're doing it kind of fast. This one, if you fill in all the boxes, you know you've done all of the work that needed to be done. All right, so you're just going to multiply and you put the answer in the box. So we're going to do x times 2x. So remember, this really has a little 1 right here, and this has a little 1 right here. So this would be 2, and then add the exponents, x squared, and put it in the box. X times positive 1 is just x. Okay, don't add them, you're multiplying. Don't forget you're multiplying. Negative 5 times 2x. Well, negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x. And then negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Okay? Once you've filled in all the boxes, you know that now all you have left to do is combine like terms. So let's see, there's nothing else with a squared, an x squared in here, so that's going to just come down, 2x squared. You have this negative 10x and this positive x right here. Those are like terms. When you add them, you're always adding when you're combining. This would become negative 9x, because that would be a positive 1. And then the negative 5 is the only thing that's just a number, so that's just going to come down. And this polynomial, 2x squared minus 9x minus 5, is your final answer. Okay? And that's what we're practicing for today. So I have 2 examples left for this Zoom call, and then we can take a look at the homework and get you started on the homework, okay? So try this one by yourself, okay? And then I'll check back with you in like a minute or so, and we'll go over it. Okay? Try that example. You can use box method, or you can use the foiling method with the distributive property. Okay, let's go over it and you can check to see how you did. I am going to use the foiling method for this one, okay? So we're going to do x times x, which is x squared. And then I'm going to do x times -4. Don't forget that's a -4 right there. So that'll be -4x. Then we're going to switch, and now it's this one's turn, the -10. So don't forget this is a -10. -10 times x is -10x. And -10 times -4, well, negative times a negative is a positive. So this would be plus 40. Okay. Now you're going to combine like terms as much as possible. So nothing combines with the x squared, so that just comes down. -4x minus 10x, those can combine. So if you have -4 and then you minus 10, that's going to be -14x. Don't be afraid to use Desmos when you're doing all this stuff, of course. That's just being smart about things, okay? Have a tab of Desmos open all the time when you're doing your algebra. And then the plus 40 just comes down and you end up with this polynomial. And that's your answer. Any questions so far? All right, you're all good. Thanks. Oh, awesome. Thanks for putting the X's on there. That lets me know that like you're still awake. All right, cool. All right. One more example, okay? And then we jump into the homework. And if you feel confident with what you're doing, then you are good to go for the day, okay? So let's just do one more. Try this one on your own, and I'll go over it in like a minute or two. Okay, try this one. Use any method that you prefer. Alrighty, so let's go over this one. I'm going to use the box method. So you make yourself a box. I'm going to put 4x and then minus 7 on the top. And then I'll put x and then plus 3 on the side. Doesn't matter which one you put on the top and which one you put on the side. I just always do the same thing every time. So now you're going to fill in the boxes. X times 4x, remember there's little ones right here. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. 3 times 4x is 12x. And 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Okay, now you take all the answers that you got in the boxes and try to combine like terms as much as possible, starting with the biggest exponent. So 4x squared, there's nothing to combine with that. So 4x squared is part of your answer. You have 12x and you have negative 7x. So when you combine those two, that will be positive 5x. And then negative 21, like that. Okay, and that's your answer. Alrighty, so the homework for tonight is 7 problems. So I am going to minimize what we got right here and bring that over onto the screen so that way you can see it. If you don't have your Canvas open right now, you can still see all the problems. I think that, let's see, might be able to, there we go, that's a little bit bigger. Try not to cut it all off there. There we go. So we're doing those 7 problems. You can use box method. You can use foiling if you want to. It's really up to you. I will get you started with the first problem, and then you'll have the remaining ones to do on your own. You can always ask me questions if you need some help. So here's number 1. I need to minimize this too, don't I? So you can see it. All right, so kind of put them next to each other. Wish I could make this one a little bigger, but looks like that's as good as we're gonna get. Okay, so for number 1, you have 3m minus 2 times 2m plus 5. Okay, so for this one, I think I'll do the box method again. Make sure that you make your box big enough so that you're not having to like cram all of your answers into itty bitty boxes. So I'm going to put 3m right here, put the minus 2 over here, 2m goes right here, and plus 5 right below it. So now we are going to fill in the boxes. So 2m times 3m is, let's see, these are ones, so 6m squared. 2m times negative 2 is negative 4m. Positive 5 times 3m is 15m. And positive 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, like that. Now combine like terms as much as possible. You're going to have 6m squared. Then these guys, it's always these ones here in the diagonal boxes that go together. If you haven't noticed that already, that's always going to happen. So 15 and -4 is positive 11 m, and then minus 10. And there you go. That's number 1. Okay. All right. You have the remaining problems. I am going to stop the recording. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.